Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our weekly class in Chassidut in English. Now we're learning the hot subject all about 770. And the main point of our last shir was that Hashem chooses one major place in the Galut, in the diaspora, which the Beit HaMikdash will come down from above and will land at that major place, as we're going to soon see more details. And from there, the Beit HaMikdash will come together with this major shul, this major central edifice, which is the greatest Beit Rabbeinu, the home, the shul of our Rebbe, which is in Bavel, meaning Galut, not only in Iraq, but anywhere where the main gathering of Am Yisrael is. And from there, we'll come to Eretz Yisrael right here, just off the block in Yerushalayim, the Beit HaMikdash, together with the major Beit Rabbeinu Bavel, and then all the other shuls and yeshivas around the world and Chabad houses will be attached to the Beit HaMikdash. We'll start with 23, the Hebrew, then we'll move over to the English. We're learning now Kuntres Beit Rabbeinu Bavel, the Holy Temple in Transit. We can bring a proof for the different levels in a miniature mikdash, miniature temple. Remember, we talked about the different levels. Of course, the real Beit HaMikdash. Then you have shuls. Then you have even a home, Jewish home, and so on and so forth. Which, from what it says in the beginning of the discussion in the Talmud, regarding the resting of the divine presence amongst Am Yisrael at the time of Galut, time of exile. And this is a quote: in every place that Am Yisrael went and were exiled, Shechina Iman, the divine presence was with them, which is very uplifting, because this way we know that even if we have to go into Galut, we're not alone. Hashem is with us. And the Talmud continues to itemize. Galut in Mitzrayim, they went to Galut in Mitzrayim in Egypt, Shechina Iman, the divine presence was with them. Galut Bavel, they went to exile, they were exiled to Iraq, to Bavel, Shechina Iman, the Shechina was with them. Then it says, Bavel Hecha, where in Bavel was the Shechina? Right? The Shechina was with them. Where in Bavel was it? So there's the one opinion is, Amar Abaye. Abaye was one of the greatest sages of our Talmud, to the extent Abaye and Rava, they had the most discussions, and there are not 3 pages in the Talmud that go by, and either Abaye or Rava are not mentioned over there. That's big stuff. And Abaye was the nephew of the great Rabbi Rabbah. His name was Rabbah. So Abaye says, Bevei Kenishta de Hutzal, in the shul of Hutzal, Ubevei Kenishta de Shaf V'yashiv B'Naharda, and in the shul of Shaf V'yashiv, in the city of Naharda. V'lo tema hacha v'hacha. Do not say, in other words, it does not mean in both places, because there is one major place where that is the main place. Like we learned last week, that in one place it says that'll be in one place, another place says every shul. The answer is, it depends where you're speaking. Generally speaking, yes, every shul. But if you have to itemize, to point to one place where the main Shechina is during the time of Galut, during the time of exile, it's one place. Elazin in Hacha, sometimes it's in Hutzal, another time it's in Arda, Elazin in Hacha. So when we say that the divine presence is with us also in exile, Gilui Hashchina b'mkomot miyuchadot. We're referring to the revelation of the divine presence in unique places. Because obviously the Shekhinah is everywhere, right? Hashem is here, Hashem is everywhere. So what's the big deal by saying, oh, the Shekhinah is with them? That means we're looking for the major places. For example, you say by a tzaddik that he has a special neshama, he has godliness within him. So if you think about it, every Jew has that. Because we say, it says in the Tanya, based on the verse, that Chelek Eloka Mimal Mamash. It is literally a part of God. So why is the tzaddik better than everybody else? The answer is D, all of the above. Everyone has a special neshama, part of God. But not by most of us, it's not revealed. So by the tzaddik, it is revealed. And he has the ability to empower us, the regular people, also to reveal our neshama. Where are these special places where the Shekhinah is revealed? Kemo, just like Bamishkan in the tabernacles, Umikdash, in the Beit HaMikdash. In 2 weeks, we're going to start learning about the building of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue. Umakom zeh hu bevatei knesiyot u bevatei midrashot. This unique place during the time of Gulut where we don't have the Beit HaMikdash yet. So right now, it's in the shuls and in the yeshivas. Shenikraim Mikdash Ma'at, which are called a miniature Beit HaMikdash. Chassidut, like the Talmud continues to explain. So once again, we're emphasizing that every shul, every yeshiva is called a special place where it's a Mikdash Ma'at on some level, a miniature Beis HaMikdash, a miniature sanctuary. But the Rebbe is trying to emphasize that nonetheless there are some unique places, let alone one unique place. There's always one unique place, which is the central place of the entire world, where most Jews are, and that is the Beit Rabbeinu Shebebavel. Let's read the English of page 22. The Holy Temple in Transit. The title of this chapter is The Primary Abode. Proof that there are different levels of small temple may be brought from the beginning of this segment of the Talmud under discussion. Concerning the Shekhinah's place of residence among the Jewish people during exile, the Talmud states, wherever they were exiled, referring to Am Yisrael, Shekhinah Imam, the Shekhinah resides with them. When they were exiled to Egypt, the Shekhinah resided with them. When they were exiled to Babylon, the Shekhinah resided with them. Where in Babylon does the Shekhinah reside? Abaye says in the synagogue of Hutzal, and in the Shaf V'Yashiv synagogue of Naharda. Naharda was a major city of where there was a big yeshiva. This does not mean in both synagogues at once, because we're trying to bring out how there is one out of many, one unique place, but rather sometimes in one, sometimes in the other. So what we see from here quite clearly is that there is one unique place. As we'll itemize in the next paragraph, the phrase the Shekhinah resides with them indicates that the Shekhinah is manifest in special places such as the Mishkan Tabernacle and Beit HaMikdash. In exile, Shalom. In exile, the special places in which the Shekhinah resides are the synagogues and study halls, as Rabbi Yitzchak states in the passage quoted earlier. These synagogues and study halls are the quote-unquote small temples, Mikdash Ma'at, each one in their time.
So what determines what?
That's a great question. Where the leader of the generation is. Not only because naturally by the leader of the generation has the greatest amount of people that had come to his shul, but also because he is the leader of the generation. For example, this week's parsha in Yitro, what was the genius of Yitro? That we spoke about this morning after the davening, that he realized that Moshe is the leader. The problem was that everybody was coming to him asking for advice. You can't survive like that. You have to delegate. So he made groups of 1,000 and they'll put them a leader. Groups of 100, put them a leader. 50, a leader. Tens, and put a leader. Now, let's say in a group of 10, you had a question, you go to your leader. It's called Sarei Asarot. If you didn't know the answer, they were part of 5 groups of 10 that made 50. So there was one guy who was more learned, perhaps, than all of the 10 leaders. If he didn't know the answer, they went to the group of over 100, which was even more knowledgeable. And if he didn't know that, they went to the group of 1,000. And if he didn't know it, then they went to Moshe Rabbeinu himself. In other words, it's not a weakness to realize that you need to have help. You need to delegate jobs. Because one person just can't do it themselves. And so Moshe, everybody can agree, Moshe was the leader. The Zohar tells us, and first I'm going to quote, it's in Aramaic, very similar to Hebrew. It pashtuta de Moshe b'chol dara v'dara. There is the spreading, there is the influence of Moshe in every generation. In other words, the Rebbe explains in one of his talks, there is one individual in every generation who resembles Moshe Rabbeinu. Not only resembles theoretically, or it's a nice terminology, but literally the neshama, this unique neshama, which is all encompassing of all neshamas of that generation, and moreover, all the neshamas of all generations. When one Moshe, or when one leader passes away, then the neshama becomes enclosed into the next leader. It's usually quite clear who that is. Because Moshe he hid until the age of 80, till he had to do his job. But once he had to do his job, he didn't have a choice almost. He tried to push it off, respectfully telling Hashem, who am I to be the leader of Am Yisrael, but it didn't help him. It was his mission, and Hashem made sure that he fulfilled his mission.
And how would we pick a leader today?
That's an excellent question. So I can tell you that it's quite clear, first of all, that this enters into the subject of Nasi Ador, the leader of the generation. And so Nasi Ador, leader of the generation, for sure, let's start up until the Rebbe's passing. That was quite clear to everybody that the Rebbe was the leader of the generation. You had not only physically such a major center, a beautiful shul, 770 that was, which it still is, and everybody coming, that's number one. Number two, you had people of all walks of life, even Gentiles that would come and receive a bracha from the Rebbe. So you see that a leader is not just reserved for only his group. And it's okay. Some people are like that. Most groups are like that. They're very. There's a very specific dress code or style or atmosphere. And if you fit into that box, then you're good. If not, there are other shows. There's always another circle. But then you have a leader of all Jewry, and that's clear. That was the Rebbe. You don't need to. You can look at the videos even. Either the stories, you don't have to go too far to hear the to see the Rebbe's individual relationship with every single individual based on the person's own level. That's called a teacher. That's called a leader. A leader is able to, like it says that Yehoshua, when Hashem told Moshe to choose a leader, Hashem told him, Moshe, you should choose, you're listening, Ish Asher Ruach Bo, a man, an individual that has a Ruach, has a spirit. So what does that mean? He has a spirit. Everybody has a neshama, Baruch Hashem, a spirit. The answer is, Chazal tell us, sheyachol lahaloch neged rucho. Same word, ruach, rucho. Shel kol echad v'echad. Someone that's able to tune in to every single individual on their level. Like we know by education, it says in the pasuk, chanoch lanar al pi darko. Educate a child, the youth, according to his way. In other words, some people, their approach is that there's one size fits all, and it's usually old school. That was their way of educating. Everybody has to know this quota. But today, more and more educators are realizing what it says in the pasuk: "Chanoch lanar al pi darko." Educate the child according to his abilities, according to his way, and that's really what a true Moshe is. Ish asher ruach bo. A person that can connect, that can bond with every individual according to their own level. And now, even after the Rebbe's passing, it's important to realize that on two fronts. First of all, the Rebbe for himself, you can see in a great way that the leadership of the Rebbe continues. It's not exactly a very wonderful method of having a leader that's already passed. It's usually you want to have someone, of course, we're human beings, and want to have someone that we can relate to. But nonetheless, there are many thousands of people every single day who are able to connect to the Rebbe, whether it means to go to the Rebbe's ohel, or to write a letter, a personal request, and to receive blessings today too, as I've seen many times by myself, that we're able to connect, receive inspiration, receive direction. Sometimes, the letters put into one of the Rebbe's books. Sometimes there is a direct response, sometimes not. But there's no question that there's always that it's the bond that's important. And as it says that the shepherd does not leave his flock. And so it's clear today that even in this situation, that the Rebbe and the Rebbe's Shul, 7 that's what we're talking about, it continues to be the central draw to so many people, to so many Jews of so many colors, shapes and forms, because we're all being connected in one place with one individual. I just want to please add one more point, because I think it's really important. I personally, as somebody coming from Chutz La'aretz, from out of Israel, I hope and pray that this next elections, which is supposed to be in exactly a month, will not have division, which is the municipal elections. But unfortunately, by the elections over here in Israel, it gets very, very personal. It's a pity, because it shouldn't be like that. But one of the things that sticks out, and I notice it personally, because I'm coming sort of from the outside, so I guess for a while can see a mile, that there are many rabbis, leaders that come out for a certain party. They endorse a specific party. In principle, it shouldn't be a bad thing, because I think it's pretty regular that everyone has either their way of thinking, or maybe the certain party gives them certain budgets for certain activities. Logically, it doesn't sound that bad. But over here, having experienced certain cases where people take it so seriously, so personally, that it's almost as if one guy's rabbi says to vote for one elected official, and the other one says for a different elected official, all of a sudden they're in a big fight. And this should not be like that. It should not, especially when it comes to a rabbi, especially when it comes to Yiddishkeit. There shouldn't be a situation where a person says, I'm not going to ask that rabbi because I don't agree with him in who to vote for. And this is one of the genius approaches of the Rebbe to Israeli politics specifically. Not that Chabad in general, especially Chabad houses, like we are, like shluchim of the Chabad houses, should not get involved in politics. On the other hand, listen to this, don't worry. On the other hand, he said that we should vote. 1 second. So most people think, what do you mean? You should vote, don't get involved in politics? The answer is, you vote. Nobody has to know who you voted for. And definitely not to go out on any campaigns. Definitely not to make a Chabad house or emails or different things for a specific elected official. Because once you do that, you're basically secluding yourself from who knows how many Jews. And I'm going to go even further to say, even if one Jew will, God forbid, be pushed away, be turned away from a Chabad house, not because the rabbi said something, or didn't put up a sign, he maybe just have told someone personally or whatever, or made some kind of statement, it's not worth it. Because the most important thing, at least the mission statement of the Chabad house, the Rebbe wants that every single Jew should feel comfortable, should feel at home. And that makes a Chabad house unique more than pretty much every other community that there is in Eretz Yisrael and around the world. So it was important for me to bring this point out when we talk about what is a Rebbe. And we could talk about it for hours and hours and days. Don't worry. Cheers. But at least to understand the concept that a Rebbe is an individual who is connected to every single person, not just Chabadniks per se, without having a specific type of dress code per se. On the contrary, there were some people that told the Rebbe that he should suggested that he should wear the shtreimel. The previous Rebbe wore a shtreimel, and the Rebbe said, "I want that you should wear a shtreimel. It'd be much more respectful. The fur hat." You know what the Rebbe said? This is unbelievable. The whole shir was worth it just for this story the punchline that I'm going to say now. If I'm going to put on a shtreimel, the shomer hatzair from the kibbutz is not going to come to me. That's unbelievable. Like most people with shtreimels, without putting anybody specifically down, aren't exactly. I'm not saying they don't care about them. But that's not. It's definitely not on the top of their list. But for the Rebbe, shomer hatzair, they might not seem like they're practicing, but I actually heard an amazing story today. That there was someone, I think his name was Uri.
I'm sorry, man. What's it? Shomer Hatzair?
Shomer Hatzair. It's a name for the kibbutzim, for the leftist, the leftist, the youth groups that they, were very, very much openly usually against. And so this guy, I think his name was Uri, he learned that, I think it was in Yerushalayim on Simchas Torah, October 7th. He went to the south, got into his car, he went to the south, and he saved a girl. She was hiding behind one of the bushes. And then he took her to his house. He went back and forth several times. This guy himself told the story. He saved 750 people on that day of Simchas Torah. So what happened was he confronted at one stage he confronted 5 terrorists that they were in the middle of taking a girl. They were going to take her back to Gaza, and with a perfect Arabic, he tells them, that we're Hamas, as if he was one of them. But the police are about to come here. Give me the girl, and I will take her to Gaza. And they trusted him. He wanted a hugger, but they would realize that he is just phony. So he took her quickly to his car. He drove her. He was not observant. He took her to his home, and he saved. This is apparently a true story with names, everything. I can get the name if anybody wants. And so when he told over the story at my friend's shul in the States, my friend the rabbi, he ran over to the guy, gave him a big hug, And he bent his head down and he says, I want you to give me a blessing. He says, me? To give you? You're the rabbi. How can I give you a blessing? I don't even have a kippah. So the rabbi said, you are the greatest tzaddik of all. With these hands that you saved 750 people, you are the greatest tzaddik, and no one can give me a blessing better than you. No one. He bent his head down, and the guy, he put on a kippah. He asked the guy next to him for a kippah, and he put his hands on the rabbi's head, and he gave him a blessing. And the rabbi said that this blessing really keeps him strong. So this is an out-of-the-box approach where we come along and we say that it's not about what you practice, it's who you are. Of course it's important to practice. That goes without saying. We have to do every single mitzvah. But that's not what defines a person as a Jew. What defines a person as a Jew is who they are, not what they do. Once we've established that we understand who the person is, now we can encourage them, we can uplift them. And this is the unbelievable approach that the Rebbe brought to the world. Because this was, in America, this was out of the question, but the Rebbe knocked it into our heads for over 40 years until it became part of us, and that gives us the ability, all the Chabad houses around the world, to continue the Rebbe's inspiration in welcoming every single person. Just 1 second, please. Unless you don't have the question anymore.
No, it's great, because this is written by the Rebbe.
Correct. Correct.
It's not exactly the same yet.
Soon we're going to get there. Soon we're going to get there. But Nadi asked a question, so I don't want to hold back any. I'm happy to talk about it again and again, because that's really the point. That's what we're getting at. Yes, Daniel.
Someone once told me that someone doesn't do Shabbat is not considered Jewish. So how is that like?
So first of all, whoever told, the question was that someone once said that, you didn't hear that here, that's for sure. That if someone doesn't keep Shabbat, they're not Jewish. So first of all, that guy, whatever. First of all, that guy, whoever said that has to answer. You have to ask him that question, not me. That's first of all. Second of all, there are many, many details into this. It's not, they're not Jewish. That I can tell you 100%. That's really the point that I'm getting at. They were born to a Jewish mother, or they did conversion according to halakha. They're Jewish. There's no one that can say that person is not Jewish. That's number one. One second. That's number one. I don't know what he meant. You have to ask him. It could be what he's referring to is about Yayin Nesech, certain things that apply to a Gentile. So maybe someone who does not keep Shabbat. However, you have to be very, very careful, because today it usually refers to a person who does it bedafka, intentionally, not a person who is ignorant, never learned, never had the chance to develop their knowledge in Shabbat, to know what Shabbat is. One guy once came to the previous Rebbe when he was in America, and the guy said to the Rebbe that he's an atheist. So the previous Rebbe said, "You wish you're an atheist." What does that mean? You have no idea what an atheist is. Atheists are someone who truly doesn't believe in God. He is usually a learned person, and after all the learning and knowledge, then he says doesn't believe. Then maybe that means something. Even then, but the guy doesn't know anything. What don't you believe in? He doesn't even know himself what he doesn't believe in. He just heard that it sounds cool not to believe in God, so he doesn't believe in God. In other words, there's a halachic terminology for that. It's called tinok shenishba, a child which has been taken captive. Unfortunately, today we have a number of them. A child has been taken captive, like by Hamas, but in the olden days, obviously, you can't blame them. They're usually away for who knows how many years, and they did not go to school. They didn't go to Gan. They didn't go to yeshiva, of course, and they haven't learned. So today, because of all the assimilation, unfortunately, there's been also intermarriage, and people even that have stayed within the fold. Unfortunately, they're in such far places. Even if they're Jewish, they don't know almost anything. So how can you expect from someone to know? Definitely, when they say they don't want to keep Shabbos, or they just don't, some they don't even know what Shabbos is to say I don't keep Shabbos, because they don't even know what it is. What's Shabbos? How does it look? What's it made out of? They don't know. They don't know anything.
What if someone knows?
So it's a very, very rare case that someone actually knows. And I'm going to go so far to say, and I have a few proofs for it. I can tell you one of them if you want, that even someone that knows and claims to know is also I wouldn't have a problem with them counting them for a minion. So first of all, I want to tell you that if anybody, I don't mean you specifically, if anybody walks into my Chabad house and sees a Jew who doesn't keep Shabbos and says, "Oh, they're the 10th person for this, so I'm not coming to this minyan," I'm very, very sorry, but they're welcome to go to any other place. I would love for them to be in the Chabad house, because we're open for everybody. But anybody that's going to disqualify another Jew because they decided that this person doesn't fit the typical framework that a regular that one would think, then they're welcome to go somewhere else, because I will welcome any Jew, and I will not check. There's a phrase in Hebrew. I won't check their tzitzis, how long it is, and how if it has a blue thread. I wouldn't check that. But I want to say another thing. I'm going to dedicate this point in memory of a great Rav, Rabbi NACHLAOT, who passed away 2 days ago. Yesterday in the wee hours of the morning in Canada. I had the great zechut, the great privilege he was a great inspiration for me personally, and guided me in a number of things in my shlichut. Also, our families are very, very much connected, and 99% sure that I heard this from him. He said sometimes you have a situation where you're talking about chumrah. Chumrah is a very common word in the yeshiva world. In the Torah, in the Orthodox world, chumrah is taking on oneself a stringency, and it's a good thing usually. Take upon yourself to become more connected, more dedicated. It's a good thing. The opposite of chumrah is kula, is a leniency. So, let's say a classical case of non-mavushal wine. We usually try to have mavushal wine just in case there's a Gentile at the table, and the people that are going through Geirut, I tell them, please make sure that wherever you go, that you tell them just a little quiet. Doesn't have to be out loud, but it can be. But it's this, so you know that the person knows that they shouldn't pass around the wine. Just give the person their cup, and that's it. Very, very simple. And then, so you have a question sometimes. You have yain nesach. God, if someone is Jewish and they're not totally observant, I'm not getting into details right now. Let's say in the extreme case that you mentioned, that maybe the halacha says that it's not kosher wine if they touch a non-mavushal wine. So what is a person basically saying? That they're being machmir, they're being stringent in the laws of yain nesach, in the laws of wine, that it cannot be touched by a Gentile. Well, how about, Rabbi NACHLAOT said, how about the laws of who is a Jew? By disqualifying the cup of wine or the bottle of wine just because one person touched it, you make as if you're being machmir, you're being stringent in the laws of yain nesach. How about the laws of being who is a Jew? You're being lenient in that. So the Rabbi NACHLAOT says, I choose to be machmir. I love it. I choose to be stringent on the laws of a Jew. In other words, to give the person space. You're welcome into Am Yisrael. And maybe a little more makel, a little more lenient in the laws of the wine, So you want to be machmir? You want to be? It's a good thing to be machmir. I'll give you another example. There are some people. It's a classical thing in many shuls or steebles where the Baal Korah, the guy that reads the Torah, it's known that you have to be exact. Every word, every note has to be exact. But there are some things that if you weren't exact, it doesn't change the meaning of the word. It's okay. And there are some people who like to make the Baal Korah crazy, to say it leniently. Vayomer, 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 Vayomer. And so one guy taught me something amazing. He says, you're trying to be machmer, you're trying to be stringent in how to hear the word, which usually it doesn't change really the meaning of the word. Because usually the person that's correcting has a little bit of a hearing problem and didn't really hear exactly what the guy said. And then this guy's being embarrassed. The guy is standing in front of everyone. He worked so hard, he's being embarrassed. So the guy taught me. And the Torah reader, maybe we should be stringent in not offending him, not embarrassing him in public. And maybe the word of the Torah reading, I'm not belittling at all in the laws of Torah reading. All I'm saying is, think twice about that person's feeling. You sound like a hotshot, like a really cool, a guy that's very machmir, and it's good, don't worry, I'm not in any way undermining that. But for a second, think of the other side of the coin. Every coin has two sides. And which one are you more careful in? Are you more careful? If it changes the word, then you have to say, it's okay, once in a while, guy makes a mistake, it's okay, it's fine. But you have to be careful on what you're machmir in, what we're stringent in. So we went a little off to the side, which is perfectly okay. Especially this is, as you could probably tell, this is something which is close to my heart. I won't let anybody mess around with neshamas, with souls of Jews. This is something which is not appreciated enough around because people don't even know. Even Haredi people, they don't learn Tanya. They don't have a real deep appreciation of what a Jew is, what a neshama is, and that's why we're here, to make it clear, crystal clear. And it's never enough. It's never said again enough. We have to do it again and again and again until it knocks into our heads. Okay, with your permission, I'd like to call a little bit of an early closing today. I have a very, very important meeting that I need, and so Baruch Hashem, we did the majority, and we in summary of this point, we learned about the place in the Galut where the Shekhinah is, and to bring it together, the Shekhinah, the third Beit HaMikdash, is going to come to this place, to this central place where these are the keywords, where the Nasi Hador, where the leader of the generation is, because he's like the magnet of where everyone from all different colors, sizes, and shapes, like we said in great detail, comes to. And then from there. First goes there. That's amazing. That's the Talmud. First it goes there, and from there it will come to the Yerushalayim.
Where is it now?
In the 770. Well, we're gonna get there soon, but I like this class. We don't have patience over here. I like it. It's good.
No, but my question was the Rebbe was
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him. I guarantee you, everything will be clear.
Oh.
Okay. Be'ezrat Hashem. Thank you so much for joining us.